sa 105.9. Dito tayo sa totoo. Simulcast sa True TV sa Signal Channel 19.
Mukhang kailangan ko na naman palitan ng bubong ko, pare. Mag-iisang taong pa lang yan. May tulo na kagad.
Ay, bossing! Baka naman kasi hindi matibay yung ginamit nyo. Dapat ang gamitin mo ay cherry loom, ang yerong aluminum. Basta yero, cherry loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero.
Mainit at makabuluhang talakayan tungkol sa sports, kumpleto yan dito sa Power and Play. Mula sa mga paborito at naglalakihang atleta hanggang sa mga natatanging Pinoy sports figures na dapat nyong makilala. Ihahatid yan dito sa Power and Play.
Sa kapwa ko Pilipino, ipagmalaki ang galing na meron tayo. Ilantad ang likas nating talento at magdala ng saya sa mundo. Sa harap ng pagsubok ay di susuko. Para sa pangarap tayo'y porsigido. Magpakitang gilas na at magpapatalo. Ipagdiwang natin ang Pilipino. Yan ang Pinoy. Mula noon at hanggang ngayon, talento natin ng bida. Mula sa simpleng bakuran hanggang entablado natin ipakita. May pagsubok man ng Pinoy, pinalalakas ng saya. San man tayo sa pulo, Chumbe, Sibay, Lakay, Amiga. Sama-samang pakita ang galing natin katropa. Sa kapwa ko Pilipino.
Power and Play is presented by Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Cherry Tigo, there's more to our cars. Joyride, ang bago ninyong kasundo.
Halina't makinig, talakayin natin ang laro. Gusto mo, pag-usapan natin, ibida ang hilig ng bawat Pilipino na merong taglay na galing. Bangon na, Power and Play na, bangon na. Power and Play. Bangon na, Power and Play na, bangon na. Pilipinas tayo na, bangon na. Power and Play na, bangon na. Bangon na, bangon na. Power and Play na, bangon na.
Carlos, Yulo, with 2 gold medals. Power and Play with Noli Iyala.
Nagwakas na po ang semifinals ng PBA at meron na tayong maglalaban para sa kampyonato ng Commissioner's Cup. Pero sa likod po ng napakarami nating huntahan tungkol po sa mga non-traditional teams at mga independent teams na mukhang maganda ang ipinakita ngayong conference na ito. Well, sa kaduluduluhan, the usual suspects ang maglalaro sa finals. At yan po ang ating hihimayin ngayong araw na ito sa inyong paborito pong kasama tuwing Sabado. Uy, bango na! Power and Play na! Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat mga kapatid. Mula po sa aming TV5 Media Center sa 1PH Studios. Ito po ang aming pagtatanghal ng Power and Play ngayong Sabado ng umaga, Marso 8. Kamusta po kayong lahat dyan? Kami po ay natutubang muling makabalik sa aming studio at makasama kayo ng buong buo for another 2 hours ngayong Saturday morning. Binabati po natin, of course, lahat po ng mga nanonood sa atin sa 1PH on Signal TV, lalong-lalo na po dyan sa San Pablo City at sa Antipolo City. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. And of course, mayong buntag sa lahat po na nakikinig sa 105.9 True FM. Doon naman po sa Cagayan de Oro at sa Cebu City. Kamusta po kayong lahat mga kapatid? Ha? And finally, hello world and hello po sa lahat ng mga nanonood sa atin over the Facebook Live coverage ng Power and Play and of course sa 1PH at sa YouTube po. Kamusta po kayong lahat? We hope you are in great condition bagamat talaga pong umiinit na ang panahon. Kaya mag-iingat po tayo ha na tayo po hindi madi-dehydrate. Patuloy pong tayong uminom At kung kailangan namang sumilong, sumilong na lang. At kung hindi kailangan lumabas, doon na lang po tayo sa ating mga opisina o di kaya sa ating mga tanggapan at tahanan. Siyempre po, hindi kumpleto ang ating Sabado kung hindi ko po isasama ang aking na-miss na partner last week. Ngayon po muling magkakasama kami, the man for all seasons, Jera Season. Magandang umaga, partner.
Good morning, partner. Good morning po sa lahat ng mga nanonood ng Power and Play. At tulad na ng sabi ni partner Noli, masaya po ako at nakabalik na naman kami sa studio. Dahil alam mo, medyo may nasikaso lang ako last week kaya hindi ako nakasama sa iyo, partner. No? But anyway, ito po kami, kasama nyo sa inyong almusal habang Sabado, di ba? Nagkakape kayo habang pinag-uusapan natin ang mga bagay-bagay tungkol sa sports, tungkol sa palakasan. Pero, kung titingnan ninyo, Direk, pwede bang ipakita nyo yung 2 shots namin? Ayan!
Kita mo naman,
Alam nyo na ba, dahil sinasabi mo, panahon na ng mainit. Summer eh.
Kaya sinimulan namin ang ganito. Para ko talagang medyo mabulaklakin ng konti at psychedelic ang dating. Partner, pinag-uusapan natin ang sports. And obviously, napakarami nangyari, lalong-lalo na sa PBA kung saan natapos na ang semifinals. Nanalo po kagabi ang kupunan ng TNT Tropang Giga kontra Rain or Shine at ng Barangay Ginebra Kings laban naman sa Northport Batang Pier. Parehong tapos na ang serye, 4-1, identical. So sila ang magtatagpo sa finals. Mamaya, by the way, makakausap pa natin si Tim Cone. Abangan nyo po yung ating live interview with Coach Tim Cone. Nakapapasok lamang dito sa finals. But again, sabi nga nila, partner, parang pareho na naman ang suspect ang pumasok sa finals. Bagamat nakita natin na maganda ang naging takbo ng mga independent teams at mga non-traditional teams.
Actually, sa totoo lang, partner, no? Ito, aaminin ko. No? Dati, yung mga laban-laban sa PBA, medyo wala akong ganang panoorin. Maliban lang nga sa Meralco Bolts na nag-champion noong 2024. But now, at least talagang I was really glued, no? From the elimination to the quarterfinals to the semifinals until finally itong finals. Dahil yung pareho tayo, pinag-uusapan natin dati, para nagkakaroon tayo ng pag-asa na may resurgence ng mga independent teams, no? Well, unfortunately, hindi nakapasok yung dalawa at sabi mo nga, balik uli ang San Miguel Group at saka ang MVP Group. Subalit, nangihinayang lang ako dahil etong ating si Idol Coach Yengyao lahat ng kanilang pagkatalo medyo dikit na dikit. Oh. It was a very good series.
Hindi kagaya nung kabila na talagang very one-sided, lamang na lamang ang Ginebra. Bagamat number 1 seed ang Northport. And again, siguro inabutan na nga ito siguro ng pressure bilang number 1 seed. Inexperience as well.
Yes.
And of course, talaga naman napakaganda ng inalaro ng Barangay Ginebra.
At saka actually, di ba, katulad rin tayo, yung mga ating larong barangay dati, tsaka mga interkangkungan tournament, di ba? Kapag yung kabataan natin nagbabasketball, kapag natambakan ka, nawawala na yung dibdib mo
Wag na yun, partner. Alam mo, pagka ikaw, kunyari tayo, nag-golf tayo. Pagka nakalaro mo, yung mga single handicapper, medyo kinakapatan Pagka pumalo na napakaganda, minsan nawawala na nga yung diskarte.
Palagay ko ganun na nangyari.
Kaya parang lumaylay. Pero ika nga, alam niyo po, ngayon sa panahon na to na lagi nating tinitingnan ang tinatawag nilang disparity sa PBA, ito pong mga ganitong klaseng resulta, of course, nagpapalaki pa doon sa ika-agam-agam na mga fans na hindi na mananalo yung mga maliliit na teams. And of course, yung maliliit na teams po na yun ay galing sa isang expansion program o di kaya bumili ng mga franchises sa PBA, partner. And again, dahil dyan, yun na nga sinasabi nila, pagkahaba-haba daw ng prosesyon, sa simbahan din ang paroroonan. Kaya, yun din ang nangyari ngayon. Ang dami nating sinabi na pagpuri sa Converge, sa Northport, sa Rain or Shine, na lumaban naman talaga, no? Pero sa kaduluduluhan, talent still.
And experience probably.
Namamayani. Namamayani. Mga kapatid, mamaya po nga pala, talking about talent, makakasama rin po natin ang reigning one championship strawweight champion sa MMA, si Joshua Pacio, The Passion. The Passion. Mamaya
idol
po yan.
Idol.
In the spotlight. So, second hour po ay marami tayong magiging bisita. Pero syempre, simulan na po natin ang ating talakayan sa paghimay ng isang isyung ika nga'y pinag-uusapan dito po sa What's the Score? Mainit palagi ang usapan kapag PBA expansion ang topic. Siyempre all-time high ang interes sa liga lalo na kung may bagong koponan na papasok. Kaya naman may halong excitement at skepticism sa pag-alis ng isang koponan na Terrafirma at pagpasok ng isang aplikante sa PBA na Starhorse Shipping Lines. Yan ang hihimayin natin ngayong linggo sa What's the Score at para ating pong lalo pang pag-usapan to, bigyan lang natin ng konting background dito, partner, ang ating mga nanonood at mga nakikinig. Alam niyo po yung PBA expansion, partner, marami na yan. Marami nang, ang tanong natin dyan, has it been successful? Merong mga sa kasaysayan ng PBA na naging successful. Yeah. And we can name so many. Ako, in my mind, one of those, of course, is Pure Foods, na talagang nung pumasok, todo-todo ang pagkakasama nila. But when you talk about the most recent expansion, itong Terrafirma at saka Blackwater in 2014, medyo maraming question mark, maraming katanungan. Bakit ba, partner, nag-expand? Yan ang tanong ko sa iyo. Ikaw, as a fan, ano ang gusto mo pag nakikita mo ang expansion?
Alam naman natin na tayo, no? Lumaki tayo dyan sa PBA. Nakita natin yung mga pumasok na mga bagong kupunan from the original, yung mga pagpasok. Talagang all of us were very excited, no? Katulad ng pagpasok ng Shell, pagpasok ng Great Taste, pagpasok ng Pure Foods, di ba?
Kahit yung Pepsi.
Pepsi, di ba? Talagang we were all excited. Uy, bago to. Malakas to. Di ba? May ilalaban to. And at the same time, yung produkto mismo, kilalang kilala.
Nakikilala.
Kilala
pa.
Di ba? Parang gano'n. Uy, pumasok ang Pepsi. Di ba? Uy, pumasok ang Santa Lucia Realty na during that time talagang pukpukan sila sa development. So, kilalang kilala yung mga teams na pumapasok during that time.
So, in other words, hindi na po nagdadala ng bagong trabaho, dagdag na trabaho ang expansion teams kung hindi excitement. Yan ang ating hinahanap sa isang koponan. But unfortunately, mga kapatid, again, hindi po ito hindi po namin pinupulaan ng kahit na sino. Ito po ay pagre-report lamang ng facts tungkol sa naging expansion ng PBA back in 2014. Unfortunately, ito pong dalawang koponan na pumasok sa 2014, ang Blackwater, Bossing, at saka yung nung araw ay Colombian Auto Car Corporation na naging Terrafirma Dyip, mga kapatid. Ang record po nila since pumasok sila sa 2014 ay 140 wins at 426 losses, mga kapatid, or a winning percentage of about 24.7%. Ganyan po ang naging takbo ng kanilang koponan. Of course, alam natin, pumasok din ng Phoenix back in 26 pero hindi yan expansion. 2022, pumasok ang Converge nung nabili nila ang Alaska Aces. But if you look at that, since 2014, partner, about the expansion program ng PBA, nagkaroon na po tayo, including this conference, ng 25 komperensya. Kung isasama natin ngayon. Kung wag natin isama muna dahil wala pang champion dito, 24 conferences. Out of the 24 conferences, minsan, hindi po nanalo, of course, ang mga expansion teams ng titulo. 10 sa San Miguel, 7 sa Ginebra, 4 sa Token Tex, at tigi-tigi sa Magnolia, Meralco at Rain or Shine. Rain or Shine, ang kaisa-isa lamang na independent team, quote-unquote, among all of those teams. In the playoffs, yung pong dalawang koponan ng Blackwater at saka Terrafirma, 5 beses nakapasok ang Blackwater sa playoffs, 5 quarterfinals. At ang Terrafirma naman, 2. So, 7 out of the last 24 playoffs. And of course, itong pang 25, hindi rin sila nakapasok. So, again, when you look at that, at kung yun lang ang pagbabasihan mo, medyo sablay yung naging development, partner. I don't know if that you see it also that way. Sapagkat, halimbawa, ang Meralco, kahit papano, ang tagal ng pinaghintay,
Di ba? Yung nga, pinag-uusapan nga natin. Ang aking team, ang Meralco, di ba? They started out in the PBA in 2010, di ba? Kilala naman natin. Meralco, may history rin yan sa basketball. Yung dating sa Mika, no? So, kilala siya. Pero may financial backing in order to manage a team of such caliber, no? Pati yung mga coaches, mabibigat dati na mga kinukuha ng Meralco. But still, nag-champion sila.
After
From 2010 to 2024 sila nag-champion.
14 anyos.
14 anyos, di ba?
Napakatagal.
Kung 14 anyos siya sa whiskey, masarap na yan. 14 years old.
Kaya nga, in other words, but yan, binuhusan pa rin ng pondo yan.
Yeah.
Binuhusan pa rin ng mga magagaling na player. So again, hindi po, ang PBA po ay hindi lamang dahil may pondo ka. Ito po ay tungkol sa commitment to build a competitive team. And we've seen that in the past. At kung ating ilalagay sa forte ang kaso ng Terrafirma, dahil sila ngayon ang nagbebenta ng kanilang franchise, tingnan nyo lang po, bibilisan ko lang to dahil ang ating bisita ay naririto na. Ang history for ng Terrafirma, sila po ay naging, ang bumili ng prangkisa nila nung expansion ay Colombian Autocar Corporation.
Kaya medyo maniniwala ako dyan dahil kotse, parang similar to Toyota dati.
Malaki
diba?
yan.
Malaki yan.
Pag may may-ari, of course, ni Governor Alvarez.
Yeah.
No? And of course, after yan ay nagkaroon ng divestment at nagkabentahan na yung mga parte-parte ng Colombian Auto, napunta sa Terrafirma Dyip. Pero alam mo ang problema sa Terrafirma Dyip, and their record in their entire career sa PBA is only 66 wins and 215 losses, partner. Can you imagine that? That's a 23% winning percentage. Alam mo kung bakit? Alam natin yan, dahil yan ay pinulaan ng pinulaan, ang dami nila mga player na pinamigay.
Yeah.
Mga top picks, 4 yan na top draft picks CJ Perez, Roosevelt Adams, Joshua Monzon, at Stephen Holt. Lahat yan pinamigay ng Terrafirma. Pinamigay nila si Troy Rosario. Pinamigay nila si Jeremiah Gray. Jordan Heading, hindi nakapaglaro sa kanila, at si Isaac Go na i-trade na rin. Many other players na kung iyong ipagsasama-sama, siguro ito'y champion talaga, champion caliber.
Ito this is just a pan lang to, Di ba anong tawag sa kanila? Terrafirma Dyip. Hindi ba trading company yan? Terrafirma trading company.
Ayun nga ang pula. Yun nga ang naging pula. Kaya ang tanong ngayon, ito bang bibili ng kuponan ng Terrafirma ay magiging ganun din? Yan po ang dapat na nga tinatanong. Ngayon pong merong plano na ibenta ang Terrafirma. And I think para po tayo samahan dito sa talakayan na ito, mga kapatid, ay isang taong matagal na nagmamasid at nagsusulat tungkol sa PBA. And of course, he is a very, kumbaga, very frank. Hindi po siya paligoy-ligoy sa kanyang mga opinion, lalong-lalo na sa kanyang column sa Philippine Star. Walang iba kundi ang ating kaibigan, si Bill Velasco. Magandang umaga, Bill.
Magandang umaga po. Paring Jera, kumusta na kayo dyan?
Ay, Bill.
Well, alam mo, pinag-uusapan natin dito ang expansion, Bill. And obviously, ngayon na ito ay may bago na namang mga pangyayari dito na papasok na naman ang bagong kuponan. Siyempre, ang ating agam-agam dito is magiging pareho ba ang karanasan ng papasok na ito sa Terrafirma. So, let me first begin with this question, siguro, Bill, para sa iyo. No? What do you think is a measure of a good expansion program?
Well, depende yan kung sa intensyon ng team. No? Does the team want to be part of the PBA just to compete, just to survive, or gawin nilang advertising vehicle lang yung PBA? Kasi kahit naman talunan ka ng team, ang isang game ay parang 2 oras na commercial.
Correct.
No? So may mga ganun. Depende rin sa intention ng team. Now, if your intention is to compete, kung gusto mo talagang makipagsabayan, dapat medyo may tulong ka din ng PBA na protektahan ka. No? Gaya nung nabanggit ninyo yung Pure Foods. Yung Pure Foods, they were allowed to hire directly from the national team. 4 na player, no? Si Alvin Patrimonio, Jericho Dinierag, Glenn Pacio at Jojo Lastimosa. Kaya naging contender kagad sila sa All-Filipino. Pero yung mga ibang team, hindi naman pinalad ng ganon. Kaya ang nangyayari, yung mga players nila ay binibenta muna sa ibang team, ang natitira na lang yung pangalan ng kuponan, no? At mabuti naman ngayon na pinoprotektahan ng PBA itong bagong team na papasok para hindi naman sila kawawang-kawawa pagpasok nila sa liga.
Ikaw, partner, kasi you are in public relations. Meron bang impact yung, okay, nakapasok ko nga sa PBA, pero panay talo. Is there an impact in that sense?
Naman.
Sa imahe ng isang produkto?
Diba? The consumers, people, when they look up at a certain company, ang gusto nila winner. Diba? Why would you patronize a certain product kung loser ka?
At least in sports. Hindi naman
sports.
natin sinasabi sa negosyo, no?
Pero generally, yun ang ibig ko lang sabihin, di ba? At saka sa totoo lang, tama rin yung sabi ni, one of the intentions, tama yung sinabi ni parang Bill, di ba? At the end of the day, itong PBA, it's a commercial league, di ba? First and foremost, kaya pumapasok sila dyan dahil gusto nila magkaroon ng exposure, di ba? Either yung product nila or yung company nila. Now, ang susunod dyan, di ba, kung if you have a very competitive team, that would boost the image of your company or your product.
All right. Bill, let's go to the applicant, Starhorse Shipping Lines. No? Yan ang ngayon ang nasasabing bibili sa Terrafirma Dyip and mukhang according to reports, almost a done deal. No? If you are advising the PBA, ano ang gusto mong makita initially as you look into this applicant now trying to get into the league?
I think siguro, the first thing is maging competitive kagad yung team, no? Kasi baka dapat siguro payagan sila to get some familiar faces, some older players to teach the young guys coming in. And if you still have yung mga dating players nila, paano mo na ngayon paaangatin ang kumpiyansa ng mga yan dahil yung record nga nila hindi kagandahan. So, ang pinakamaganda sa lahat siguro bigyan ng konting purgada itong team na to para at least man lang makapasok sa playoffs na maaga-aga at hindi magtagal na sila yung doormat ng league. Ang isa pang para naman sa kapakanan ng PBA is paano ang scheduling ng mga laro ng Starhorse being an expansion team. No, are they going to get a lot of the second games? Are they going to get a lot of the primetime games? Kasi scheduling nga naging issue nung pumasok yung Pepsi at Pop Cola noon. No, nung early 1990s, nagkakaroon ng second game na Presto Pepsi, ang hirap pumunta sa Ultra, walang dumidepensa dun sa laro, kaya nakakawalang gana. Pero ngayon, if this team really has the intention, if Starhorse really has the intention to be a competitive team at maging palaban talaga sila, dapat tulungan din sila kahit papaano ng PBA, at least to become competitive at hindi maging doormat.
Parang Bill, you said a while ago na at least ngayon medyo pinoprotektahan ng PBA itong pagpasok ng bagong team, no? Ano bang narinig mo? What do you mean by pinoprotektahan? Hindi mawawala yung pinaka-nucleus nitong Terrafirma?
Oo, kasi sa mga nakaraan nakikita natin na wais din yung mga nagbitaw ng team, no? Tinetrade nila or alam naman natin yung mga ibang trade na yun may cash component din.
Right.
So, pinapakawalan nila yung mga player nila. So pagpasok mo, pangalan na lang ng team ang dala mo and you're starting from scratch. So sana naman itong susunod, sinabi naman na ni Commissioner Willie Marshall nung isang araw na there will be no more trades. No? So hindi na mababawasan yung mga player and that's something to start with. Kahit papaano, hindi ka nagsisimula na kabubuo mo lang nung team, ngayon lang nagsama-sama yung mga player. Talagang malilintik ang kapagpasok mo sa PBA. No, at least ito kahit papaano yung mga player nila may karanasan na at may ibubuga pagpasok nila sa PBA.
Alam mo, in any case ng mga pagbagong mga papasok na team sa PBA, even in my experience, talagang may pinagbabasihan ang PBA. And I know for a fact na ang PBA nagbuo ng isang komite para himayin ang papeles ng Starhorse Shipping Lines. And ako basically, you have to look at unang-una the organization, 'di ba? Sino ba 'yan? Sino ba namumuno diyan? Sino ba ang magiging involved? Kasi very important 'yan. Pangalawa, track record sa basketball. Hindi na wag yung negosyo sapagkat ang negosyo hindi naman natin pinapakailaman 'yan. Pero yung track record sa basketball, no? And apparently itong Starhorse sila hindi pero yung isinatawag nilang co-owner meron daw experience sa MPBL at sa ibang liga, no? And then of course financial. Kasi at the end of the day, kaya bang makipaglaban nitong koponan na to sa gastusan sa PBA? At dahil alam naman natin, partner, kung gaano kahalaga yan?
Okay, partner, since you said that, no? Ikaw, yung experience mo, how much will it take for a team, no? To be very competitive? Magkano gagastusin yan kada buwan?
I mean,
kasama yung salary cap, lahat-lahat.
Let's put it this way, and I think Bill has a pretty good idea about this as well. Ang salary cap ng PBA, 50 milyones, isang taon. Okay? Nung araw, panahon ko, it was only 32 million. From what I understand, na ngayon ay nasa 50 million na. Ang rule ng PBA, ang isang koponan has to spend at least 70% of that. Hindi ka pwedeng bumaba dyan. Again, that's the reason is para merong standard na binagbabasihan. Ngayon, alam naman natin, Bill, and kulang ang 50 million. Yan ay sweldo pa lamang. Marami pang factors dyan and na pwedeng pumasok. Ikaw, Bill, what have you heard? I mean, a competitive team, more or less, magkano ginagastos dyan?
Kailangan gastusin.
Well, to put it bluntly, the sky is the limit. Kasi, I said this about 15, 20 years ago. Sabi ko, madaling magsabi ng itong sweldo ng isang team, itong sweldo ng, minsan pumapalag na yung mga matataas na executives ng kumpanya, bakit yung basketball player lang, mas malaki pa sweldo sa akin, no? And some of them, ito yung sweldo nila on paper, no? Pero hindi naman nagkakabayaran on paper. No? At maliban dyan, you can call other components, other things. Sabihin mo, meal allowance niya, 100,000 naman. Sabi mo, gasoline allowance niya, 200,000 naman, no? Parang eroplano na yung pinalilipad niya. No? So, nasa sa kumpanya na yon. Kasi if you call it other things and it's not salary, then hindi natin malalaman kung gaano kalaki ang talagang binabayad sa mga player. No? May mga insurance pa yan, binibigyan ng negosyo, ng mga mas nakaluluwag na kumpanya. So, I would think 50 million is probably just
the minimum.
Maybe just a little over half of what is actually being paid.
And I also heard about that na mga ganun. And let's just go to that, partner, ha? Kasi tayo po mga kapatid, and again, I'm talking about facts here. Hindi po tayo, again, wala po tayo, hindi natin alam ang Starhorse Shipping Lines. Alam natin, it's a domestic shipping line somewhere based in Lucena. At sila ay pagmamay-ari ng Reyes family, no? Founded by the late Victor Reyes, isang board member sa Quezon. And now run by, I think, his wife, si Mrs. Reyes, no? Si Mirayan Hernandez Reyes. But mukhang ang involved dito rin is a guy named Jackson Chua, no? Na I think magiging co-owner, who used to run also the Basilan team sa MPBL. Now, ang MPBL in terms of track record, Bill, itong Basilan team was quite successful sa MPBL.
Sa tingin ko ang magandang pangitain yan para sa Starhorse is unang-una, ang shipping company does not really need to advertise.
Exactly.
Diba? Tulad ng Santa Lucia Realty noon, gusto lang talaga ng may-ari na mag-basketball. And for me, mas maganda pa yon kaysa yung may pera ka. Kasi pag hilig mo talagang basketball, you want to be competitive, and now you're on the big stage, lahat na gagawin mo para maging contender. So, I think that's even better kasi ang tawag niyan, intangible yan, na mahilig sa basketball, gustong manalo, ayaw maging kahiya-hiya pag sumali sa isang liga. So, I think for them, that is the best thing of all, na talagang gusto nila ng basketball. Hindi yung subukan lang natin, tignan natin, ay natalo tayo, malis na lang tayo dyan. Diba? Kaya sa tingin ko, pinakamaganda. Kaya tinanong ko kanina, anong intensyon? Now, obviously, hindi nila kailangang mag-advertise. Shipping company, kailangan talaga ng tao yan. Diba? Kaya ang kagandahan dyan is gusto nila pumasok sa PBA. It's not business, it's personal.
Okay. But again, that
begs
the question,
Exactly.
That begs the question.
Kunyari, humampas sila sa pader at masabi, ay mali. Di ba? No matter how much kung makita niya yung laki ng igagasto.
In other words, walang corporate reason to join. Diba? Isn't that a little...
We're talking about PBA.
And this is alam mo, hindi to maliit na pera. And again, partner, I want to just be very factual here. Nakuha po natin ng audited financial statement ng Starhorse Shipping Lines, no? And this is official documents from the SEC. And when you look at their numbers, they're a solid company. Solid sila. And I don't want to go into the details of the numbers. But if you look at their net income for 2023, that was the last time they filed, of course. The 2024 itong dokumentong ito. Parang hindi ko alam kung paano nila tutustusan ng isang 50 million na
More than
50 million na operation sa PBA. Because, I'll be honest, they're reporting net income which is much, much less than that salary cap level, Bill. So, again, ang tanong, of course, hindi natin sinasabi ito lang ang pagkukuhanan. Baka merong ibang sources, but ang point ko lang dito, partner, I don't know if you wanna... Dapat siguro himayin ng PBA ito ng hindi pwedeng tanggapin lang to hook, line, and sinker. Bill, remember the issue of rain or shine. Ang whale coat, 2 beses nag-apply yan sa PBA at hindi tinanggap. Hindi dahil hindi solid na kupunan ng whale coat, but because the PBA wanted more proof that they could sustain. Hanggang finally, in 2006, tinanggap na namin sa PBA. Bill, do you think the PBA should have a little more prudence, especially since coming ka from a Terrafirma experience?
Sa tingin ko naman, it's the obligation of the new team to prove na kaya nilang sustain, perhaps a performance bond. At ang kontrata naman dyan, hindi lang 1 taon, di ba? At minimum of 3 years.
5 years yata, 5 years.
5 years na ngayon, di ba? At it's a chicken and egg situation eh. Paano kung ang pagpasok nila sa PBA ang makatulong sa kanila?
Yun.
Diba? Yung correct. Exposure mo yon, primetime TV, diba? Nakakasabay yung pangalan mo sa mga San Miguel Beer, Ginebra San Miguel, Talk and Text. Diba? Yung mga mas malalaking brands, they want to be at the big boys table. Diba? Kumbaga, yun ang isang magandang punto doon na dapat nilang tanungin naman sa PBA. Perhaps it is being in the PBA, pagpasok namin dyan, kami naman ang umangat. If you remember, nung pumasok ang Pure Foods, unang pasok pa lang nila sa All Filipino, biglang nagbilihan sila ng gamit kasi kinakapos na ng production ng hotdog dito sa bansa. Diba? So, baka pwedeng yun din na maging
baka may
epekto.
plano rin sila na palakihin talaga itong Starhorse using the PBA.
Absolutely,
Malay mo, pagka may laro sa MOA, may darating doon na cruise ship ng barko ng Starhorse. Diba?
Nasanay sa skateboard.
Na meron tumatakbong kabayo.
Yun.
Di ba?
Hindi natin alam eh.
No, but again, ito again, ito po mga kapatid, hindi namin sinasabing itong Starhorse ay hindi dapat pumasok. Ang punto lang dito is, coming from that experience nga ng Terrafirma, and I think that's why we place the history of the expansion na hindi naging successful eh. In fact, last week, nung kausap natin si Kinito Henson, ang sabi ni Kinito, matagal na palang gusto ng Terrafirmang umalis. Pinipigilan lamang ng PBA ang kanilang pag-alis. Again, it's an image issue. Pag nawala ang isang team na walang pumalit, hindi maganda. So ngayon, nang pumasok na ito, ngayon, pwede nilang tanggapin. But, bakit tayo pupunta doon sa puntong yon na hindi pala gusto nung isang koponan dahil hindi maganda ang kanilang o hindi nila kayang sumabay dyan sa PBA. That's, I think, the point here. And again, with the president of Rain or Shine, for instance, or even Red Bull nung araw, na hindi kaagad pinapasok, hinimay munang mabuti yan. Siniguradong kaya nilang hindi lamang bumuo ng team, kung hindi i-sustain yung team. And look at Rain or Shine now. They are a competitive team. Yun lang naman, I guess, the point, Bill, on that matter.
Sige, depende rin siguro sa magiging strategy nila. No? Nabanggit nyo kanina, yung ilang number 1 draft pick na pinakawalan. Now, kung ang pangarap nila, tulad halimbawa ng Converge, no? They will retain their draft picks. Talagang in 3 to 5 years time, magiging palaban na team talaga yan. So, kakayanin na nila makipagsabayan sa iba. Pero pag nilalako lang nila yung mga draft pick nila, talagang walang mangyayari sa kanila.
And maybe those are the measures, partner. Measures para to make them competitive.
Actually, yung well, siguro, pagpasensya nyo na, yung mga nakikinig dito na sa PBA or sa Starhorse, we're just, para bang sa Biblia, doubting Thomases lang kami dito. But we are very happy if we will be proven wrong.
Yes.
Dahil nga, ang pinag-uusapan kasi, coming from the Terrafirma experience, di ba? Kaya ito kami, di ba? But we all want
Success
we want
of a,
all to
of a new
succeed.
team.
Yeah.
Dahil kagaya ng sinabi nga ni
Don't
Bill,
get us
during the
wrong.
time ng Pure Foods, ang ganda ng attendance ng PBA. Because they were competitive team and again, it's because the PBA gave them concessions, Bill. So, in that regard, you mentioned may moratorium now on trades. What other measures kaya can the PBA look at to make sure na itong papasok na Starhorse will really be committed to putting up a very competitive team? Anong tingin mo?
Well, there are measures that the PBA can take. No? Alam natin yung expansion draft. Pero madalas dyan, ang natitira na lang yung mga latak ng ibang teams. No? So that's a longer-term plan. Siguro pwede natin balikan yung Pure Foods experiment na pwede silang pagbigyan na mag-direct hire. No? 3, 4 na player para medyo solid kahit man lang yung starting lineup nila. Para it will give them something to look forward to. Kumbaga, we have some of the pieces already. Pag nakakuha pa tayo ng ganito, ng ganyan, ng draft pick na ganito, lalakas talaga tayo in the next few years. No? Balikan natin yung nangyari sa Converge. No? They got Balti, they got Justin Baltasar. O yan, medyo lumalaban na sila. Diba? Katunayan, they've gone further this last conference than ever. Kaya makikita natin konting tweaks dito, konting dagdag dito, may mapapahaba yung pasensya nila sa pagpapatayo ng isang malakas na team.
Ito, parang Bill, partner, no? Katulad na sinabi mo, during the time of Pure Foods, di ba? Pinayagan ang Pure Foods na direct na kumuha sa national team. Palagay mo ba dito papayagan ang Gilas na papasok yung mga star players?
Tamayo, yung mga ganyan.
Tamayo, na papasok dito sa Starhorse.
Well, iba na yung sistema kasi ngayon. No? But at least, from those collegiate players na may intensyong pumasok sa draft. Ang tanong lang dyan, kung may mga manager na naman na makikialam na sit out na lang tayo, ayaw ko dyan sa team na yan. Na madalas na mangyari ngayon. Kaya siguro kailangan talagang pag-isipan ng PBA na wag naman maging lampaso itong Starhorse pagpasok nila.
Tama yan.
Tulungan nyo naman kahit paano. Diba?
And if on the other end of the spectrum, sa tingin ko ang PBA, pwede rin maglagay ng limitations din na in other words, sa Starhorse. O kayo, patunayan din nyo. Halimbawa, you limit their benefits. Alam natin that every team shares in TV receipts, in gate receipts. Ngayon, ang sabihin natin sa Starhorse, habang kayo ay may nagmamatrikula, meron din kayo limitations. Dahil kailangan nila magpakita. Dahil alam mo ang problema talaga sa mga teams, yun nga, yung okay na, nandyan lang kami, marinig yung pangalan namin. But it's also a disservice to the public.
Exactly.
Na basta lang maglalaro ka doon for, without really being very competitive. And we know it's not easy. Hindi madali po sa PBA. Maniwala kayo.
PBA over the years, 50 years ng PBA.
Mantakin niyo mga kapatid, ang lalaki na hong kumpanya na nag-fold sa PBA dahil sa hirap po ng gastusan dyan. Hindi po yan mura. Binanggit na ni Mr. Ramon ang yan Ang ginagastos ng kanyang 3 kuponan, 1 bilyon. Mga kapatid. So hindi po to mura. Kaya ang akin is, hindi po yung basta magpapasok. Kung gusto ganun ng PBA, mag-Division 1, Division 2 na lang tayo. Di ba? Parang, at least there's relegation. Maybe there's a chance to improve to Division A. But at least yung competition, may parity, may laban.
Yun naman ang hinahanap ng tao, na maganda yung laro. Gusto nila pupukan, patayan, hindi lang yung pagdating sa playoffs. No? Kaya, malakas naman talaga palagi ang college basketball kasi pinaghahandaan nila at alam ng mga player na sandali lang sila maglalaro sa college, no? 3, 4, 5 years. Kaya siguro dapat may model na gano'n, maybe get more collegiate players for Starhorse para sanay pa sila na pupukan palagi ang laban.
Alright. Well, kami po kaming tatlo ay mag-aabang sa magiging desisyon ng PBA tungkol sa Starhorse. And of course, sana nga maging successful ang bago nating kupunan dyan at lalo pang lumawak ang following ng PBA. Bill, maraming salamat. I know that it's the anniversary of the PBA and you were obviously a very dynamic and essential part of the early years ng PBA. Kaya sana'y makita ka nila dyan sa hostilities and of course sa celebration ng PBA.
Maraming salamat ko, Gerard. Always happy to help basta PBA ang pinag-uusapan.
Maraming salamat. Mga kaibigan, ang ating pong kaibigan, star columnist and of course, basketball analyst, Bill Velasco. Alam mo again, partner, ito po ay, again, kumbaga magpaumanhin na tayo. Hingi tayo ng paumanhin sa PBA. Wala po tayong gustong sabihin dito kung hindi tumulong lamang sa pagpapaunlad ng PBA. Sometimes the truth is difficult to accept eh. Mahirap po. Kasi dyan sa PBA, alam ko, marami dyan. Lahat na sinasabi, yung gusto lang marinig ng mga tao sa PBA. Kami naman po ni partner, hindi naman ho kami naririto para humingi lamang ng mga ticket. Kami po ay naririto para pagandahin ng PBA. Talagang ganon.
Hindi, talaga. I hope, sabi ko nga no, na marami akong naririnig kapag meron tayong pinag-uusapan na isang issue, na apektado yung kuhan, nagagalit daw, at wag na natin ano yan. Hindi po. We're not here to bash people or companies. Hindi po. Ito po palagay ko, kami parang ano lang
Kami yung konsyensya.
Hindi, sinasabi rin namin dito sa aming programa kung ano rin ang pakiramdam ng mga ibang sports fans.
Yes. Hindi naman lahat sumasang-ayon.
Hindi naman lahat sumasang-ayon.
Kaya kami naman sabi nga ni partner, we are happy to be proven wrong. Sana nga. Pero again, mabuti na tayo nag-iingat at nabibigyan ng payo si Commissioner Willie. Kahit hindi siya nakikinig, sana marinig niya na meron din hong ibang side sa lahat po ng anggulo na kanilang tinitingnan. And in this expansion team, or at least a news team, napakahalaga po na talagang suriin niya mabuti ito. Sapagkat, again, it will be critical to the success of the entire league, hindi lamang po para sa isa.
Saka sa mga fans ng
Sa mga
PBA.
fans.
For over 50 years, di ba?
Oo
Talagang
naman.
gusto nila magandang imahe, magandang takbo ng PBA.
Alright.
Tulad namin.
Well, bago po tayo magpatuloy, isa muna pong paalala sa mga kaibigan natin mula sa Smart. Puso Pilipinas is a movement to celebrate the Filipino athlete powered by Smart. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Get a chance to win exclusive Puso Pilipinas merch by sharing their Facebook page in your social media accounts with hashtag Puso Pilipinas. The Giga Life app is the latest mobile app from Smart that lets you discover and enjoy your passions with the different Giga promos. It can be downloaded and used by Smart Postpaid, Smart Prepaid, Bro Prepaid, and TNT subscribers via the Apple or Google Play Store. What can the Giga Life app do for me? Check your balance. Monitor your current subscription, top up using debit credit card. Subscribe to the latest Giga promos. Monitor your data consumption, auto-detect your mobile number when you are connected to Smart Network one-tap subscription to the most popular offer, Giga Video 99. And of course, Power and Play is powered by Smart. Live more today! Sa amin pong pagbabalik, ang Cash or Bash, mamaya po ang ating mga bisita, Tim Cone and Joshua, the Passion Pacio. Ito po ang Power and Play, hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom, Cherry Tigo, at ng Joyride. Ang oras po natin, 8:42 ng umaga.
Dream big. To be a voice of my generation. To inspire resilience in the face of roadblocks. And in sharing my stories, I let others share in my passion.
Follow Kai Stories on Twitter and share yours with Smart Double Giga Stories. Share 2 times the passion with 2 gigabytes for Twitter and more. Guaranteed every day, plus data for all sites.
Simple, smart ako.
Muli pa nagbabalik ang Power and Play, and of course tayo po dito sa Power and Play patuloy na namimigay ng mga premyo po mula sa Joyride Super App sa ating pong top up promo. Napakasimple lamang po. Para sumali, mag-download ng latest version ng Joyride Super App, kuhanan ng screenshot ng app's home screen, ipadala po yung screenshot kasama po ang inyong pangalan at registered mobile number sa Power and Play FB page. At meron po kaming pipiliing 5 mananalo ng 1,000 pesos JR Pay Wallet credits para po nyo gamitin sa Joyride Delivery, Joyride Motorcycle Taxi, Joyride Taxi Cab, Joyride Car at Joyride Super Taxi. Again, mula po yan sa Joyride Super App, ang inyong pong bagong kasundo. Alright, partner, bago tayo magpatuloy, isa pong pagbati sa ating pong mga nanonood, lalong-lalo na po dyan sa Los Baños, Laguna, doon po sa Bicol na napaka-init ngayon, lalo lang sa Daet, sa Daragan, ako, napaka-init doon. At of course, dyan po sa ating mga kababayan sa San Esteban, Ilocos Sur. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat.
Masantos ya kabosan, maabig ya kabosan at sikay namin, ditanen. Lingayen, Pangasinan. At gusto ko rin batiin alam mo kahapon, meron lang akong na naengkwentrong napakagalang at napakabait na traffic enforcer along Commonwealth. MMDA kumbaga dahil
may ginawa ka na naman?
Hindi, pero napakagalang.
Okay.
Kumbaga,
sir, ito po ang ticket ninyo po, sir.
Napabilib ako. Tapos sumakto, taga-Pangasinan rin. Kaya kamusta sa'yo, Herani Perez, traffic enforcer ng MMDA dito sa Commonwealth area.
Parang si Justice Secretary Hernani Perez.
Herani pala, Herani. At also, yung isa pang masugid na nakikinig at nanonood sa atin, yung nagbubukas dito sa lobby sa Meralco main lobby. Si Ferdy Velasco.
Ako gusto ko rin batiin si Auntie Puring Tolentino at si Maddie, ang kanyang anak. Good morning, lagi daw nanonood sa atin sila. Good morning po sa inyo lahat. Nga pala, batiin din natin si ex-Postmaster General Norman Fulgencio, nakasama po namin noong Webes kasama ni Coach Tab Baldwin. Coach, I know you're still sleeping.
Norman, salamat doon sa masarap na pakain mo. At nga pala, happy birthday sa aking balae, si Oti Mendoza.
Happy birthday!
Celebrated his birthday yesterday.
Paano naman kami, Oti? Alright, mga kapatid, pasok na po tayo sa ating paboritong segment dito, kung saan tayo magkakaroon ng konting light moments sa pagdiskusyon sa mga topics na inyo pong kinagigiliwan dito po sa ating Cash or Bash. At ang Cash or Bash ay hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Tigo, there's more to our cars. At ngayong araw pong ito ang ating mga kasama ay walang iba kundi si Ivan Saldajeno mula sa Dugout Philippines at si RJ Bellecer ng The Game Magazine. Magandang umaga, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning,
everyone.
Hi, RJ. Thank you for joining us this morning. Well, bago tayo magsimula, alam nyo, malapit na yung anniversary ng PBA and obviously, marami naghihintay dun sa 50 greatest players, yung bagong additional na 10 players na hihirangin ng PBA. I think this will be on April 11. Kung kayong dalawa ay merong nomination na kahit na isang player, maliban kay Junmar, na alam naman natin, talagang shoe-in na si Junmar. Sino sa tingin ninyo ang isang player o dalawang players na gusto niyong makita ang pangalan sa 50 greatest players ng PBA na additional? Unahin kita muna, Ivan.
Sige. If there's one player na gusto kong makita sa 50, sa bagong list, Nelson Aceitono.
Oo. Tama yan.
Totally agree.
Tama yan.
Parang
na-snub si Nelson, the Raging Bull. Talagang
Raging Bull.
Marami na rin
For you to get a moniker, hindi naman sa kuwan, if I may add for you to get a moniker in the PBA, that means, di ba? Magaling ka. Di ba? Kasi hindi lahat ng mga players sa PBA nabibigyan ng moniker.
Ikaw, RJ, sino sa tingin mo?
Mr. Nolly, respectfully, I think I would pass up on that topic muna. I'm guessing as part of the Gen Z audience, I'm not exactly well-versed dun sa very deep history ng PBA.
Okay. No problem, RJ. Ikaw, partner, kung meron kang isang player na maybe one or two names. Maybe a guy like Abe King. Alam mo, si Abe King, noong araw, isang pioneer yan pagdating sa ano. And then another guy, sa akin might be even Olsen Racela na hindi rin nasali doon sa top 40. These are names na talagang nagdala ng PBA yung para sa kanilang kasikatan.
Sa akin kasi, partner, katulad niyan, pinag-uusapan natin. Sabi mo nga, naisama na dyan si Jason Castro, di ba?
Currently, yung mga current.
Hindi nga, pero para sa akin, dapat ang isama yung mga hindi na naglalaro. 'Di ba? 50 greatest because they still have something to prove while playing, while still actively playing in the PBA. Marami pang mangyayari. Wag mo muna isama. 'Di ba?
Kasi alam mo,
para sa akin.
The last time na nangyari to is about 10 years yata ago nung gumawa sila ng 40. So obviously lahat ng MVP pasok diyan. 8 doon nakuha ni John Marpardo. So isa lang yata yung si Scotty Thompson yan additional. So again, you're looking at names that maaaring maging sorpresa, but it should be very interesting.
Yeah.
Yung paghirang ng 50 greatest players. All right, let's go to this to our COB topics this morning, gentlemen. Alam nyo na ang drill dito. We will give you some sports items, pwedeng video, soundbites, o quotes na inyo pong hahatulan kung sangayon kayo na cash, at kung hindi naman kayo sangayon ay bash kung walang seal of approval. Again, ang importante lamang dito ang inyong opinion at bato-bato sa langit. Tamaan, huwag magagalit. Alright, simulan natin sa ating unang item of the morning. It has been a nightmare in Dallas. Sabi nga nila, Malas Mavericks. Malas Mavericks. Out for the season si superstar guard Kyrie Irving matapos madali naman ng isang ACL injury. So, cash o bash, hindi may injure si Kyrie Irving kung hindi itinraid si Luka Doncic. I'll begin with you, RJ. Go!
Nako, Sir Noli, medyo masakit na topic yan for me kasi I'm a Kyrie fan ako since high school So naalala ko nung pumasok yung balita, parang talagang bumagsak yung loob ko kasi at saka parang alam naman natin Kyrie's really resurgent sa Dallas, di ba? Parang lalo na especially coming from Brooklyn, parang medyo mas stable na siya ngayon sa Dallas. I could get the vibe na he's at peace. Pero I guess when it comes to this injury topic, respectfully, I have to say, bash. Kasi kumbaga, I was reading through the online discussions and people were saying na, may wear and tear nga. May added wear and tear si Kyrie because of, lalo na he's kind of like, kumbaga mas naging main option siya ngayon. Mas babad siya ngayon. He has to create, he has to orchestrate more. Kasi nga, wala si Luka. But I guess just for me kasi ang belief ko is kumbaga pag-usapang injury naman, and especially if you consider how Kyrie was injured, medyo may halong malas na to na kumbaga kahit nandun si Luka, kumbaga mapaprolong lang, probably it would have been a matter of when and not if. Kasi parang kung titingnan naman natin parang awkward landing yung pag-extend ng niya. So kumbaga medyo may halong malas yun. Like anyone could have suffered that injury, probably yung bangko nila. Kung talagang malas yung galaw mo, pwede kang ma-injure na ganun. And ayun, I feel like it's hard to really pin it on Kyrie being the clear-cut number 1 ngayon sa Dallas habang bungi sila. So ayun, just for me, bash na.
Alright. Well,
ayun, kung nandun si Luka, obviously baka hindi agad mangyari, pero I guess it's an accident waiting to happen talaga.
Talaga.
So that's for me.
Totoo yan. Let's go, Ivan. Same matter. Hindi may injure si Kyrie. Kung nandun pa si Luka, cash or bash, go!
I will agree with RJ and I'm gonna say bash then. Kasi like what RJ mentioned, it can happen regardless if andyan si Luka or wala. Pero ang concern ko sa Dallas is not about si Kyrie or si AD or whoever. Actually, it's all about Nico Harrison. Kasi let's put it this way. That Luka trade is one of the most lopsided trades in NBA history. Come on. Ano sinasabi ni Nico na win daw ang Dallas with the AD acquisition? No way. One game pa na injured si AD. Then si Kyrie injured. So ang natira lang na superstar dyan, si Clay. Paano kung ma-injury yun? Di wala na. Kaya ang mas concern pa sa Dallas is, ano ba magiging plano nila after this? Kung mag-attack pa sila or what, kasi based from last week, kaya pa yung mabot sa playoffs. And they're in a good position to make it to the play-in. So, for me, while I don't agree na Kyle would not be injured if Lucas stayed, now that it's done, yung the Luka trade and the Kyrie injury, the AD injury, medyo napaka-precarious sa situation ng Dallas. And all the more na may rumors nga pa na lilipat sila ng Vegas. So I'm gonna say, while I don't agree na Kyrie would have not been injured if Luka stayed, I say this is now Dallas' situation post-Dirk.
Oo. Well,
lumipat na kayo, gusto nyo?
parang kulang na lang magbigay ng finger si
kulang na lang
si Ivan
sa pakit mo si Harrison.
Pait na pait. Partner, ikaw, cash or bash sa issue na yan?
Ay, definitely bash, di ba? Kaya nga, katulad ang sabi nga ni RJ, aksidente, di ba?
Wala
I mean, if you're a premium player, you will get more minutes. And the more minutes you play, the bigger chance of having an injury. Di ba? Parang kotse yan eh. Kung mas madami mong ginagamit, mas may chance mabangga ka. Pero kung nasa garahe lang yan, hindi mababangga yan eh. Di ba? Regardless whether the Luka is still with the Dallas, regardless. Look, kita mo, si Kai Soto na lang. Di ba? Tumatakbo lang na ACL na.
Ganun talaga.
Malas lang eh.
Malas Mavericks talaga. Malas Mavericks. And I agree, Bash. Ang injury, hindi naman natin pwedeng isisi sa iba. Diba? Talaga pong aksidente yan. But again, tama rin si Ivan. Talagang dala na rin ito sa dinalang pagkakamaling desisyon siguro ni Nico Harrison. Well, wag kang mag-alala, Ivan, dahil meron ding injury daw si Nico Harrison ngayon. Brain damage. Okay, let's go to our second matter of the morning. All right. Mula sa isang injury to another. Out for the season na rin si Jason Castro. Ngayon pa naman pumasok sila sa finals dahil sa ruptured patellar tendon. So, cash o bash? Alam naman natin ang history ng injuries ni Jason, no? And for a guy who was logged in so many minutes at wala nang kailangan patunayan, panahon na para magretiro si Jason Castro. I'll begin with you, Ivan. Go!
Tough one for me in a sense na Jason is just 38 years old, turning 39 this year. Pero I'm gonna say yes. I think kasi the thing with Jason Castro is he's known as the blur, and having a major knee injury like tendon tear, mawawala na yung at least siguro 20, at least mababa na yung 20% ng pagiging blur niya. So at this time wala na yung siyang halos kaya patunayan. It's now part of the 40 going to 50. So I say at least one more year left, then retirement na.
Alright.
Pero yun nga, best point candidate Asia.
Pwede
hands
na.
down.
Pwede na.
Time to retire. Yes.
Alright. RJ, same matter. Panahon na ba? Panahon na para magretiro si Jason after this latest serious injury. Go!
Actually, I would have to agree with you, Sir Noli, and kay Ivan nga na I would have to say cash na kumbaga in a way na kumbaga he's done everything that he can. Kumbaga, I mean, in a way na kumbaga wala na siyang tama. Sabi niyo kanina, wala na siyang kailangan patunayan, and ayun na nga, he's one of the PBA's greatest na, tas ayun na during his prime talaga. Sabi nga ni Ivan, best point guard in Asia. But like ako siguro, on my as much as kumbaga okay na if he retires, wala na rin naman mawawala. Parang I feel like wala na rin tanong na kumbaga if he retires, he's gonna retire in peace, one of the most accomplished players, one of the most accomplished guards in the PBA. Pero I guess for me, I would also want na he retires on his own terms, na kumbaga if he can play one more season, two more seasons, na kumbaga as much as hindi na siguro mababalik yung, at least yung kahit yung form lang niya ngayon na quality minutes na bigyan mo 20 minutes papatahin ka. I mean, kahit
Parang naghang si
Naghang
si RJ. Alright. Okay lang. Mamaya makukuha uli na si RJ. But partner, same matter.
Same. Talagang father time at age 39. Talagang ganyan talaga. Just like last night, napanood ko doon sa isang programa nag-high five pa si Jason Castro at saka si Jimmy Alapag. Ganun katagal na si Jason Castro sa PBA, no? And with this injury, palagi ko kailangan na rin, no? Just like kay L.A. Tenorio, di ba? Pwede nasa background na lang siya. He can still play several minutes. And after a season, palagay ko, it's high time for him to retire.
Wala nang kailangan patunayan. Sabi ko nga, 9-time PBA champion, 3-time PBA Finals MVP, a 5-time best player of the conference. Lahat na nakuha na ni Jason Castro. But sa akin, tama si RJ. Make him retire on his own terms. Of course, he's secure sa kanyang future naman. But I think at this point, kesa ma-risk pa na mas seryosong injury, I think mas gusto nating makita na si Jason Castro ay i-honor na siya ay talagang nasa pataas. Alam mo, yan ang problema sa mga PBA players minsan gusto nila yung hanggang kaduluduluan, and that's also, I guess, an issue na hindi siguro naaalagaan ng ibang teams. Alam mo, may mga ibang players na hindi rin kumbaga nararamdamang hindi naalagaan sa pagtatapos ng kanilang career. Yan ang mahirap. Alright, let's go to our third and final issue of the morning, RJ and Ivan. Ayon kay NBA Hall of Famer Shaquille O'Neal, dapat isama sa greatest of all time conversation si Steph Curry. Naku, alam naman natin ang ginagawa ni Steph ngayon. Casio Bash, tama ang opinion ni Shaq na kahanay ni Curry sa GOAT conversation sina Michael Jordan, LeBron James at Kobe Bryant. I'll begin with you, RJ. Go!
I guess if ganun ang comparison, I guess just with this current body of work, I guess just for me right now, respectfully, I would have to say Bash, kasi I feel like kumbaga if talagang ikukumpara mo siya dun sa, I mean siguro if in terms of accolades and kumbaga yung quote-unquote na dominance na were they the best player on the best team or were they at some point the best player during a season, ganun, I feel like in a way na kumbaga if ganun ang comparison natin, I feel like it's kind of hard na kasi I feel like kasi when we say GOAT, ang usapan dyan is he's like 1A or 1B na or pinakakompletong player of all time, and I feel like right now as much as kasi kung usapan natin greatest offensive player of all time or greatest shooter of all time, mas lalo yung greatest shooter of all time, walang debate dyan, but I guess like if greatest of all time, right now medyo shaky pa yung case ni Steph na siguro nga sabihin natin mag-compare tayo ng championships na kumbaga Steph has 4 championships, LeBron's 4 championships, MJ has 6 championships, na kung titingnan rin natin yung sa 4 na championships ni Curry naman, yung dalawa kasi doon medyo, I mean, I'm not invalidating anything, pero I feel like it's kind of hard to like really say na, it's kind of hard to, hindi naman sa hindi ako believe, pero kumbaga yung lalo na 2017, 2018 may Kevin Durant ka doon tapos overmatch ka against yung Cleveland ni LeBron. So parang hirap din sabihin na he was the best player or he was the clear cut na number one best player dun sa championship teams. And I guess kumbaga yun na, going back to my earlier point, if like kumbaga yung best player for the season, pinakakompletong player for the season or ayun na on the best team, para medyo shaky nga yung case na yun. And kung kukumpara mo pa dun sa yung laro or yung dominance na nila LeBron, and kahit si LeBron and Jordan na lang kasi they're the two most prominent dun sa GOAT debate. Parang I feel like medyo ang hirap din na kumbaga to place Curry in that same tier. Alright. Pero I know, of course, if we're talking about impact, syempre there's no denying how Steph revolutionized the game, na kumbaga siya yung tipong matawid lang niya yung bola kaya ka nang sunugin, and of course it's because of him na kumbaga naging necessary na magkaroon ka na ng stress ngayon. And but like I guess for me kasi when we say GOAT, I mean when we talk about number one, I feel like for now with this body of work medyo nahihirapan pa ako na ilagay siya here.
Fair point.
Okay.
As LeBron and Michael Jordan. But is he one of the all-time greats right now? Do I consider him as one of the all-time greats? Yes, pero kung greatest of all time, medyo iffy pa ako dyan. As much, wala naman akong problema if people would consider him as their GOAT.
Fair point.
Okay. How about you, Ivan?
Ivan, ikaw.
Okay.
GOAT conversation.
This is good. This is a great conversation. I like Steph Curry. And I'm gonna say Cash and Bash.
Wow.
Both, so all of the above. Cash in a sense na kasi there's this thing called subjectivity. Right? Parang the good conversation is about a good mix of subjectivity and objectivity. Pero kasi nangyayari lately, medyo nag-lean sa subjectivity. Pero using this balance of both factors, siguro I'm gonna say Cash in the sense that Steph should be the greatest point guard of all time. He should be up there now with Magic and John Stockton. So, ang usapan na nga kung sino ba talagang greatest point guard, kung si Magic or si Steph Curry. And some are now leaning to saying that it's now Steph over Magic. So yeah, Cash na is the greatest point guard of all time. Pero Bash in terms of yung sabi ni RJ, overall GOATness is still gonna be MJ. Not LeBron. I don't know. So, not even a top 5. Charot. Pero, yeah. Speaking of top 5, there could be an argument that Steph could be in the top 5 na in the overall GOAT. Yeah. Siguro, di na siya bababa sa top 10 or top 15. Pero kung, like I mentioned, Cash, greatest point guard of all time. Point guard's GOAT. Bash because he's not the greatest overall.
All right.
It should be MJ.
Good point. Okay. Cash and Bash, si Ivan.
Cash and Bash.
Kalahati.
Alam mo, dahil dito kasi sa tanong partner, di ba? Sa opinion nga ni Shaq na kahanay ba si Curry sa GOAT conversation, di ba?
Conversation.
Doon sa tatlong binanggit. Jordan, LeBron at saka Brian, no? Well, actually, talagang iba lang yung brand of play ni Steph compared doon sa tatlo. Pero I think dapat gumawa tayo ng bagong kategorya. Katulad ng sinabi ni RJ. GOAT.
Anong
One of the greatest of all time. Dahil dumadami na Dahil when you say GOAT, dapat hindi na isa lang yan And that would be very hard to a difficult discussion or para i-debate mo, di ba? Dahil greatest isa lang yan ngayon naglalabasan na. Dati si Michael Jordan, dumagdag si LeBron James. Ngayon si Kobe Bryant, hindi na greatest yan. Hindi.
One of the greatest.
GOAT na.
Mamiya. Nagkaroon ng dagdag na letra. Pero ako naman, conversation Alam ka naman, isa lang pinag-uusapan natin kung conversation. But I agree with you. I mean, if you're talking about measurements of who may be the greatest of all time, medyo siguro hindi ganun sa level na yun pa si Steph. But again, I do not like comparing eras. I don't like comparing players. I think let's just appreciate Steph for what he has done for the game at yung greatness ni Steph Curry as a basketball player. Talaga naman maybe the greatest shooter of all time.
Kaya
ako naman, Goshout.
Ano naman Goshout?
Greatest shooter of all time. Alright. Hindi Gusot. RJ and Ivan, maraming salamat sa oras na binigay niyo sa amin ngayong umaga. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Ali, salamat po ulit for the opportunity.
Maraming salamat. Mga kaibigan, RJ Bellecer and Ivan Saldajeno ng ang ating pong mga kasama sa Cash or Bash. Alright, bago tayo mag-break, isa muna pong sumilip muna tayo sa ating mga pop culture at viral video sa mundo ng palakasan sa Stop and Pop. Ang title po ng ating video ngayong araw na ito ay Lethal Lefty. Lefty, kaliwete mga kapatid. Tingnan natin, hindi ito boksingero. Pero bata po, tingnan nyo itong practice shooting ng batang ito. Shooting form, check. Follow through, check. Square body to the basket, check. Di man pasok lahat ng tira, makikita naman ang fundamentals. Madaming practice at consistency pa, di malabong makita natin ang lethal lefty na yan na maraming pinahihirapan or pahihirapan sa court. Yan ang, alam mo, at yan din po ang ating Stop and Pop. Alam ko, Chinese yan Oo, baka nga Chinese type makakalaban ng Gilas yan one day.
Baka maging utgot din.
Maging utbot din yan. Alright, kami po ay magbe-break, but when we come back, ang ating po mga kasama, the greatest of all time pagdating sa coaching.
Yun.
Coach Tim Cone is in the house, and of course, mamaya po, ang ating world champion sa MMA, Joshua, the Pacio sa Power and Play. Hatid po sa inyo ng Cherry Loom, Cherry Tigo at ng Joyride. Ang oras po natin, 9:12 ng umaga.
Dream big. To be a voice of my generation. To inspire resilience in the face of roadblocks. And in sharing my stories, I let others share in my passion.
Follow Kai Stories on Twitter and share yours. With Smart Double Giga Stories. Share 2 times the passion with 2 gigabytes for Twitter and more. Guaranteed every day. Plus data for all sites.
Simple, smart ako.
True FM.
On 105.9.
Cherry Loom, ang yerong aluminum. Basta yero, Cherry Loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero.
Power and Play.
And welcome back mga kapatid sa Power and Play ngayong pong umagang ito. And of course, we're very happy that right now we have as our very special guest and fresh from his semifinals conquest, the winningest coach of the PBA, gunning for his 26th PBA championship.
Wow.
Mga kaibigan ng aking pong kaibigan, ang aming pong kaibigan, walang iba kundi si Coach Tim Con ng Barangay Ginebra Kings. Good morning, Tim.
Good morning. I just woke up.
Coach.
I know. That's why, I'm so thankful. We're so
Late
grateful.
coming back from the game. We didn't get back till 12:30 in the morning. So by the time we slept, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning this morning. So
Yeah,
I had to use the alarm to get up for this.
We're so grateful. Thank you so much.
Happy to be here after the win last night.
Just to prove that you're live on Power and Play. But no, okay. Let me go quickly, Tim. Just obviously, again, you're on a hot streak after a slow start in the PBA, and that seems to be something that people are getting very used to. But were you ever concerned that you came into the playoffs as a lower seed, having to go through, the higher seeds, particularly, of course, having to go through the number one seed?
Yeah, it was tough. Actually, from the quarters, having to play Morocco in the best of three before we left for Doha, that was very concerning. We weren't, there was a lot of things going on with the preparation for Doha and trying to stay locked into what we were doing at Morocco. The day after we played Morocco, we went into Inspire camp and spent, 2 practices there. And then overnight, and then another 2 practices, and then we left for Doha. So, it was very, very hectic at the time, and the one that was really scary for us was really Morocco. And then coming back, the fatigue factor that everybody talked about was real, although it didn't really feel that important to us.
Yeah,
I knew, we knew that we could be ready to play, but I think we all surprised ourselves on how well we played coming back and starting our series against Northport. It was an eye-opener for us to be able to play that well, especially with the Jamie coming off the bench and playing as well as he did.
Yeah.
And RJ is just really maturing right in front of our eyes. I mean, he's not a young player in effect, but he's maturing in the idea of how to win in the PBA. And he's really amazing.
Yeah, Coach Tim, you mentioned a while ago that you were really, you have some doubts or you were scared and concerned playing against Meralco. Now, after getting over that hump, you played against a young up-and-coming Northport. No? But if you will notice, you may admit it or not, out of the 5 games, 4 of which are really blowouts, were you really concerned against this team that it will be just a walkover for the finals?
We're surprised, actually.
Surprised?
It was easier.
As I said earlier, I was very surprised by how well we played. And we had gotten beaten soundly by them in the eliminations. And again, they had beaten, San Miguel. They'd beaten us. They'd beaten Magnolia through the eliminations. And there was no chamba there. They were solid. And Jack was coalescing that team in terms of filling out that center position. He was like their Junmar. And then they put the shooters around them, and then Arvin was playing that at such a elite level. Yeah, we were very, very concerned going in there, and again, like I said, the fatigue that everybody mentioned was a real factor for us, and but again, I think what really happened to us is we got such great play from guys coming into the game, like Jamie and RJ and Mav. Those guys came out and just really really elevated the game every time they walked into the game.
Yep.
And so that was really the difference.
Well, Tim, you're talking about your team right now. Obviously there were so many keys to your series. Your defense was incredible. You had so many assists in the first 2 games. I think you had 36 assists in both games, and that's something that shows how well the team has been gelling. And of course, your bench. But last night, Troy Rosario had an injury. How is he? What is his status? What do you think? And when you look at your bench, how happy are you with the guys that have really stepped up here? Particularly Jamie Malonzo is coming off an injury.
Yeah, well, first off, Troy, he had some, significant swelling on his ankle last night. I believe it was his right ankle. We were talking to the trainers. They didn't want to really say exactly how, give a future for us because they wanted to see what was going to happen to the ankle today. It's always, the next day. How is that injury going to respond the next day? So I'm hoping to get some news later on this afternoon from the trainers about how he is feeling and if we have a timeline for him. But he definitely had some significant swelling last night, and he could not have come back into the game. So that's concerning for us. He has been a guy that, with his versatility, we've been able to make him guard various players. I mean, he guards the point guard in the series. He guarded the import in the series. Right. He guarded the best player, Arvin, in the series. We throw him around everywhere, and he goes to the 5 position when Japeth is off the floor. He plays the wing and really complements what Justin does by being able to play around the dunker spot. There's just so much that he lends to the team that we didn't have in the past.
Right.
So he's really key for us. In terms of Jamie, I think when I think of Jamie, I think of that Game 7 that we played against the Dragons.
Right.
The Bay Area Dragons in Game 7, where he was just out of this world. I think he had like 28 points, 17 rebounds, 8 assists or something like that. And then soon after that, we lost him. And so, we forget how good he is.
How good he is.
And,
yeah,
that's one of the reasons he's on the Gilas team, is that he is that good. And again, another one of those guys who's very versatile defensively. He also guarded the import. He also guarded the point guard. He also was our one of our prime defenders for Arvin, him and Stephen Holt. So we forget how good he is. So, it's great having him back.
Right. Partner?
Yeah, the next, when is the scheduled start of the finals? I think it will be a week from now. So
it's on Friday.
Okay, so that's very good concerning the injury of
actually the gentleman's sweep really is helping you, Tim.
Yeah.
I mean, how significant is that?
We don't plan on being a gentleman. That's for sure.
Especially with TNT against TNT.
I've heard that term before, but I don't think I've ever had it applied to us.
But obviously, it's going to help your team.
You want to take care of that game for us because you lose a Troy having to go an extra game.
Yeah.
So we really wanted to get game 4 at least. But we didn't play like it. There was like pulling teeth to get us really going into that game. But we knew the importance of game 4. And we thought we should have won that, and we didn't, and that's why I think we came out with a little more fire here in Game 5.
But that's going to help your team now.
That's going to help your team against TNT.
Yeah,
that's my
with
point.
a longer rest.
Yeah, longer rest.
Yes, and it's going to help them as well.
Right.
RHJ is going through Ramadan right now, so he'll be able to deal with it better with the longer break. He's been playing really heavy minutes, and so it's going to benefit them as well. But yeah, for sure, Justin's not 100% in terms of health. He's got some health issues going on, so that's going to help him out as well. So yeah, we're ready to invite this because, again, that fatigue factor that people were talking about, like I said, it's real and it's there. So having these days off this is only my second day off today. This is, for Justin, everybody that went on that trip, this is only our second day off in over a month right now.
Wow, that's
we
really
either played
incredible.
or practiced every day for the last 35 days, except for these 2 days.
Yeah,
Because that was including the Morocco series.
Yeah,
We haven't had a day off since before the Morocco series.
yeah, it's gonna be a very interesting matchup
It will
between
be.
the two imports of Ginebra and TNT. Not only for the PBA but also during the FIBA encounters
Yeah.
between RHJ and Justin Brownlee.
But Tim, now let's go to the series. This
Yeah.
particular series, should be really quite interesting. When you look at this series, obviously you're very familiar with Chot, and he's familiar with you. What is one factor that you feel can make or break the series right now? I think we lost the audio. Let's try to get back Tim and his audio, mga kapatid. Kasama po natin. I think you're in mute.
There we go.
There you go. Okay,
Okay,
go ahead,
okay,
Tim. Go ahead now.
You were
Off for
saying.
some reason. I don't know why it went off. Like I was saying, if I tell you, do I have to kill you?
No, it's just between you and me. Nobody's watching anyway, so you know what.
Nobody's watching. Just between you and me, that's funny. I think that really, Chut did a really great job of playing the matchup game with us last series. When we subbed, he subbed. He really analyzed our substitution rotations. He had a plan for everything. He defended extremely well. He got into, really frustrated us with his defense. We weren't able to do a lot of the things we wanted to do. So, we had a less versatile lineup at that point. We didn't have a Troy, didn't have a Jamie, didn't have a Maya. And RJ was in his first playoff series. So we're hoping some of those factors all turn a little bit for us coming into this series. Having a little bit more versatility. We'll be a little bit more unpredictable in terms of how we can play players. I don't think we'll be as predictable as we were last series. And we're hoping that gives them a little harder time.
When you first met, and the only time you met in this conference was in January 17, TNT won 91-86. It was a close game for all the quarters. It really went down to the wire. What are the takeaways that you got from that game in particular? Because that's obviously the matchup that you'll have. And again, if you look at their team, who concerns you the most outside of RHJ?
RHJ.
So this is going to be a RHJ Brownlee matchup, Tim?
Well, hopefully it's RHJ against the whole Ginebra team. Because he's not one. No one's going to stop him by himself. I mean, it's not just his skill level that concerns you. It's his mentality, his physicality, his incredible hustle that just energizes the team, and that's the most concerning thing and the most difficult to coach against. If he just had a skill level, you could scheme that and figure it out, and okay, let's take some of that stuff away and make him do some other stuff. But you can't scheme against his ability to get to the offensive boards, or his ability to block shots, or hustle down the floor and get a loose ball, or energize his teammates in a huddle. You can't scheme against that kind of stuff. That's stuff you just got to push through, and that's what makes him so special as a player, and why he's so difficult to defend him and beat him. Rain or Shine played a great series.
Right, yeah.
They played an awesome series from what I can see. I didn't watch every game because, I'm locked into our series. But that's what this weekend is for me. Is I'm going to go through all the Rain or Shine games and our games of last conference and the last game you were talking about of this conference, kind of get me refreshed on what we need to do. But the bottom line is that the RHJ is just really, really difficult to coach and scheme against, and that's what makes them so hard. And then they put so many good shooters around them in terms of Calvin and Roger. And Poi it gave us such huge problems last conference in the finals. So those are things that we're all going to have to account for. Jason is out. Bless his heart. He has been a thorn in Ginebra's side for years and years, and been a thorn in everybody's side, and all around Asia, and in the World Cup, he has been a thorn. But hopefully we can figure out, how to play better with him not on the lineup.
All right.
Yeah, but there's also another sideline story here, wherein Troy Rosario will be fighting against his former team.
That should be interesting as well.
That'll be interesting.
Yes.
That should be an added motivation even for Troy himself.
Yeah, because you may admit it or not, but I saw the game between Ginebra and TNT before. When Troy saw Oftana behind him, he really made his elbow against Oftana.
Troy's like that with everybody, but he was doing that to Arvin last night. So,
well, he's a very physical player.
He takes the challenge from everybody, but for sure, you always have that little deep-seated feeling about playing your former team. Whether it be Talking Tex or whether it be Blackwater for Troy, or that is certainly something we've seen, in all teams around the world, in the NBA as well. Players just have a tendency to get up for their former teams.
Yeah. Well, Tim, I know that this will be a long series. It's obviously going to be a very intense series, and we're looking forward to the start. But let me just go a little bit just before. I know you're very tired, but let me just go to the Gilas side. Just a little bit about Gilas. I know a lot of things have been said and discussed about what happened in Doha, what happened also in your last window. Just again on the matter of adding to the pool. What do you say about again this whole discussion about guys are going to get injured, guys are gonna get old, and the small pool is really really something that's not for the future but only for the current. Are you still looking at just maintaining a small pool, Tim?
Well, there's a lot of factors that go into having a pool. It's not just selecting players from the outside. There's monetary factors, there's budget factors. The bigger the pool, you got to bring more players. It's a bigger expense. There's a lot of different things that go on just aside from just being able to add players. I've been saying it before. It's more difficult. If you watched us play, we brought AJ into the lineup, AJ Edu, and it was a little disruptive because we just didn't get him involved, and with the short preparation time that we had. I mean, he has been with us before, but he's never practiced with us before. So he walked in, and we had 3 practices in Inspire, and then we had 1 practice in Doha, and then we played 3 straight games. And he had no clue in terms of the triangle, what he was doing. And we spent all of our time trying to integrate him into the lineup, trying to teach him what needed to be done. And he showed tremendous flashes. I mean, he had 17 rebounds against New Zealand. He played great against Qatar down the stretch in his first game. I mean, he played really big stretches, but it was difficult because there was no flow to our game with him out there all the time, because he just was not, he just didn't feel comfortable all the way. So just adding one major player like that was a disruptive thing, but something we had to do because obviously we'd lost Kai. Obviously AJ is a huge future a weapon for us down the stretch, later on down the line. Yeah. So it's just not as simple as just adding guys in, and that's one of the reasons we're trying to keep it tight. Yes, we had some tremendous failure in this last trip, and a lot of it was not just basketball. A lot of it was just a poorly put together trip in terms of understanding how difficult it was going to be in terms of travel. 10-hour trips to Doha, 10-hour trips to New Zealand, back in 10 hours there, 10 hours back, staying in Hong Kong for a length of time, waiting for a flight, and then taking a 10-hour flight to New Zealand, and then having no practice time in between. And then changing time zones as well was really difficult. I had a really hard time sleeping through all that. I didn't feel like I got more than 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night throughout that whole trip. And if I'm like that, I know the players are even worse. Because I'm not the one running up and down the court doing all the work.
Right.
And, you got guys like Jumar and all these guys doing all these flights and travel in economy. Imagine 6'10" Jumar and that big body trying to sit in an economy seat for 10 hours. Flying there, flying here, flying there. Yeah. So it was a bad trip. It was a badly put together, and no one is to blame. No one is to blame except me, because I was the one that requested it. I was the one that put it together. And looking back, and in hindsight, which is always best sight, it was really poorly decided. It was a poor decision.
So it's an aberration. It's an aberration, Tim. This is not what we're going to expect. In other words, you're not concerned.
No, I'm not too concerned. You're always concerned. Like, you go into a 3-game losing streak in the PBA, you're concerned. It's concerning. And, you take a look, do we have the people? Are we doing things right? You have to figure those things out. But in the PBA, you can hide from it. You basically come out of it, get a couple, 2 or 3 games going, and then people forget. There's just so much more, so much more light on the Gilas program. And you only get to play. We have to wait all the way to August to break this losing streak that we've been on.
Right.
And that's a tough thing.
All right.
The bottom line is that also, we wouldn't have made this trip if we had been qualified. If we had not been qualified already, we would not have made this trip to Doha. That's 100% sure. And looking back, I wish we hadn't done it, or I wish I'd done Doha a little differently, rested guys more. And like I said, I've said this publicly. I'm still learning on the job, honestly. I mean, I don't do a lot of travel when it comes to playing in the PBA. That's one of the beautiful things about coaching in the PBA. I'm home every night with my family, watching my kids grow up. I go to the games, I come back to the house. I'm not on a jet flying somewhere and being away for 2 or 3 weeks at a time, like the NBA, and so I'm learning how to manage trips a little better. I'm learning how to manage myself in trips a little better, getting the proper sleep, doing things, learning to get into my workouts and stuff like that and travel. These are all a little bit more new to me, so I'm hoping I'm getting a little better at it. The next trip we take in August, I'm going to be a lot smarter, I think.
All right. Well, Tim, I know we have so much more to ask you about Gilas, but we're running out of time, and we certainly, I know you want to concentrate as well on your coming finals. But again, we're looking forward to this series, and we're looking forward to the national team going out there and getting back on the winning track. Thanks so much for joining us today, Tim, and get some rest. So before I let you go, are you ever gonna wear a shirt and a tie again in a PBA game? Just quickly here.
I mean, I'm sure there's occasion. Maybe if we have a 50th anniversary game, maybe I'll put my.
Not even in the finals.
Not even in the finals?
Not even in the finals.
Not necessarily. It's just. I don't feel like I don't know. It's just not that acceptable anymore. Nobody, even in FIBA around the world, NBA, anywhere around the world now, is people wearing shorts and ties. So I'm not looking to stand out. Very comfortable at just being with my never shirt and
excellent.
And those were the days.
Those were the days.
You move on. You progress. I progressed out.
We gotta look our age, Tim. That's it.
I might give you a retro look one of these days. We'll take a look at it.
Well, you look better. You look better in your shirt, and you're more relaxed. Thanks so much, Tim. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure being on your program, man. I really enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tim.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Mga kaibigan, ang winningest coach of the PBA.
Idol
And of
yan.
course, in my book, of course, Baby Dilupa will always be there, but Tim Cohn, in my book, is the greatest of all time as well. And of course, as a friend, he has always been one of my best friends in all of sports. Alright, mga kapatid, bago po tayo magpatuloy, gusto ko lang pong, siguro, ipasok na natin yung ating susunod na guest kasi medyo nagkukulang na tayo ng panahon. Pasok na po natin ang ating special guest din sa ating pong segment na ating pong tinatawag na In the Spotlight. Mga kaibigan, ng ating pong panauhin ngayon sa In the Spotlight ay ang kaisa-isang, one of the few left na world champion natin pagdating sa martial arts. And ika nga, pinagmamalaki ng Pilipinas.
Kumbaga, maski na strawweight to, mabigat to.
Mabigat at malakas.
Malakas.
Mga kaibigan, ang ating pong current reigning world champion ng strawweight division sa One Championship. Walang iba kundi ang ating world champion, Joshua the Passion Pacio. Magandang umaga.
Ay.
Josh, thank you so much. Kamusta ka?
Ito po, nagre-recover kasi kagagaling sa trangkaso sa sakit. Thank you for having me.
Well, kami ang maswerte na makasama ka namin ngayon.
Nakasama ka namin ngayon.
Talagang, especially after your most recent win. Josh, siguro diretso na tayo kagad sa mga gusto naming itanong sa'yo. Nakuha mo, ito muna, background lang. Alam natin, nanalo siya last February 20 to again, regain and retain his world championship. But back in March of 2024, nakuha mo yung iyong pangalawang or rather third championship mo, third title sa strawweight. Kamusta ang pakiramdam noon to regain the championship, and anong ibig sabihin noon sa'yo personally, regaining that championship back in 2024?
Yung 2024, last March 1, 2024, syempre as an athlete naman gusto nating mag-perform mag-perform to the highest level, pero yun nga, we won in a way that we don't want to. Like, we won via disqualification nung last year. But, hindi lang ito yung nagpalakas ng pagiging atleta ko, kundi yung faith ko din kay God. I know that God is in control kahit na ganun yung nangyari. And after that fight, I had a ACL injury. Then, nakuha sa training going to that fight. And, yun, nag-rehab tayo. And last week ng November, we are cleared to train and fight. So, binigay na agad sa akin yung rematch, again yung trilogy with Jared Brooks. And here we are, nakuha natin yung panalo.
Alam nyo, para sa kaalaman ng mga nanonood dito sa programa, hindi basta-basta tong kalaban niyang tong si Jared Brooks. Dito sa tatlong laban nila, dahil former UFC fighter to, very experienced person. At yung napanood ko yung laban mo, yung huli, Sus Mariosep, akala ko mababali na liig ni Joshua pero matindi pa rin yung kanyang drive to para matanggal yung nakalak na yung liig mo sa ni Jared . Ano nararamdaman mo during that time? siguro that was a good 10-15 seconds, 'di ba? Na naka-choke sa yung liig mo sa kanya.
Yeah, four attempts ng chokes yung ginawa niya sa akin.
Wow.
Pero yung grabe din kasi yung ginawa naming training. It's all about simulation and situational sparring. Lahat ng gagawin ni Jared Brooks ginawa na sa akin nung training. Mas malakas pang mga tao yung gumawa sa akin nun. Sila Stephen Loman, sila Danny Kingad, Jeremy Pacatio, and minsan nga sila Kuya Edward na mas mabigat sa akin mga ka-sparring ko. Sila yung gumagawa sa akin nun. So, I'm used to it sa mga ganong sitwasyon. Kumbaga nung pumunta tayo doon sa laban. Kaya na-survive natin yung round 1.
Kumbaga guillotine choke ang tawag doon eh.
Sakit nun.
Sakit nun.
Josh, alam mo, reflecting nung 2024 mo, no, nabanggit mo sa isang mong interview na may plano ka to compete in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And have an active fight here, no? How did your, sabi mo nga, nagkaroon ka ng injury, no? How did those injuries impact yung mga goals mo, as well as on, have you adapted new training techniques since then para mapaghandaan yung pangatlo mong laban kay Jared Brooks?
Yun ang mahirap nung last year kasi nagka-ACL injury tayo. Hindi tayo naging active sa, yun nga yung sinasabi kong sana diretso yung jiu-jitsu competition, ganun. Pero hindi natin nagawa yun. Ni hard training nga sa gym, hindi ko magawa dahil lang sa injury. Kaya nakabalik na lang tayo ng full training nung talagang last week na ng November last year. So, yun. But I thank God kasi binigay niya yung right people. Kasi I have Professor Gibran Langbayan and Professor Godwin Langbayan who's helping us in our ground game. Yun, yung jiu-jitsu game natin, ang wrestling game natin. Yun.
Alam mo, nabasa ko rin partly that your journey sa martial arts began with overcoming childhood obesity. Yung pagiging overweight, no?
Yeah.
How is your perspective on health and fitness evolved since yung mga una mong araw na pumapasok ka sa martial arts? Nagbago na ba ang iyong paningin sa health and fitness dahil nga dun sa obsession mo na mawala yung childhood obesity mo and getting into martial arts?
Well, ang laki ng growth ko, yung naging knowledge ko when it comes to health, you know, kasi ngayon, syempre pag may laban ako talagang strict diet and I have my nutritionist with me, condition nutrition, si Peter Miller. Tapos pag walang laban yan, kasi kain kahit ano dyan. But for me, being healthy is yun lang. What you eat is what you are. So if you eat clean, then your body goes with you. But if you eat garbage, yun din yung lalabas.
Tama.
Galing. So just eat clean. Yun.
Very good philosophy. Very good philosophy. Well, looking ahead, Josh, ano bang objectives natin in the coming year after, of course, this fantastic win laban kay, again, this third and final trilogy ninyo. Ano ang plano mo this coming year in and outside of the ring? And ika nga, how do you plan to achieve this?
Well, outside the ring, of course, for me, be more faithful to God. Inside the ring, rank 1 pa rin si Jared Brooks.
Saka natatandaan ko, sinabi mo, after you won the fight, bibigyan mo raw siya ng isa pang matchup kalaban .
Kasi rank 1 pa rin siya. In rank 2 yung Russian, rank 3 yung South African, rank 4 yung Hapon, rank 5 Russian ulit. So, ito yung mga nasa radar ko ngayon, yung mga nasa rankings. So, maybe si Jared Brooks lalaban pa yan ng isa or dalawang beses bago kami ulit pwedeng maglaban.
Okay.
But kasi yung rank 2 si Mansour Malakiv, yan yung possible na makakalaban nating next. Yung tinalo din natin nung last 2023. So, yun, hindi ako magre-relax. Talagang tuloy pa rin yung training, tuloy pa rin yung growth natin as a mixed martial artist.
Alam mo, isa sa medyo naantig ang puso ko sa iyo, no, na nagsalita ka, no, when you were interviewed, when you got the championship. Sinabi mo na mga Pilipino ay globally competitive. Sinabi mo yan sa harap ng mga libo-libong tao sa Qatar. Alam mo, totoo yun eh. Kaya, can you please expound on that na bakit mo nasabing ang mga Pilipino ay globally competitive?
Well, in my experience traveling all around the world, hindi lang dito sa platform na to, hindi lang sa martial arts makikita mo na mag-excel ang mga Pilipino. Lahat ng trabaho ginagawa ng Pilipino. Nasa Qatar ako, suporta yung mga Pilipino. Maraming Pilipino doon, mga 80% ang nanood Pilipino. Pumunta ako sa US, nandun din lahat Pilipino, suporta din sila. Lahat ng iba't ibang bansa merong Pinoy. And they're doing their best on their work and on their platform. And doon ko nakita na globally competitive ang Pilipino.
And of course, you know, ang laking inspirasyon pag nanggagaling sa isang world champion katulad mo, Josh, no? Alright, before I let you go, Josh, medyo naubusan tayo ng oras. With your experience at saka ngayon ang achievement mo as maybe one of the few reigning world champions ng Pilipinas, anong advice ang pwede mong ibigay sa mga batang mga Filipino fighter na aspiring to make a mark in the international mixed martial arts arena?
Well, advice ko lang sa mga mga bata na gustong mag-mixed martial arts, you know, keep the faith in God, discipline, and yung attitude, and yun nga, work hard and work smart at the same time. Yun.
Well, wise words. Talagang nakikita naman natin ng work ethic nitong ating fighter na itong si Joshua. The passion. Keep the passion, Josh.
Keep the passion.
And we will continue to fight for, watch you in your fights, and of course, patuloy magbigay ka ng karangalan sa ating bansa. Maraming salamat, Champ.
Thank you po. Maraming salamat.
Mga kaibigan, the world champion, Joshua, the passion, Pacio. Alright. Grabe, no? Grabe.
Ay, hindi, alam mo, sa totoo lang, hindi biro yung sport na yan.
Hindi biro yan. Hindi biro talaga.
Biro mo, willing kang masaktan kada practice. Sakit yun.
Ayoko. Pero to gusto ko, bago tayo magtapos, mabilis na pagpapasalamat po sa lahat ng mga tagapagtaguyod ng Power and Play. Maraming po salamat sa Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Again, Boss Elmer, marami po salamat sa inyo. Thank you also to Cherry Tigo 7 Pro Hybrid, mga kapatid. Sa lahat po ng gustong ng magandang sasakyan, and of course very economical, and of course reasonable ang price, Cherry Tigo 7 Pro. Thank you so much. Thank you also to Joyride, ang inyong pong bagong kasundo. Again, yung ating pong QR code instant booking at yung hatid airport service ng Joyride. Marami pong salamat sa Joyride Philippines. 717 Delhi, thank you also for your quality classic premium sandwiches. Skin, your face and body anti-aging center, thank you so much. And of course, Smart, live more today. Rudy Project Shades, maraming salamat po sa lahat ng mga tagapagtaguyod ng Power and Play. And before we end, yung po mga nanalo sa ating top-up promo ng Joyride, si Angelo Dizon, Michael De Ramos, Adriana Duran, Christopher Jared, Castillo at si Zubair Salem. Congratulations. Lahat kayo nanalo ng 1,000 pesos JR Pay Wallet Credits. Partner, nako, championship ng PBA this week. Abangan natin yan.
Abangan natin.
Papanoorin natin yan. And of course, patuloy po tayong tututok sa NBA at sa lahat pa ng mga atletang Pilipino. Lagi natin pong pagmalaki ang ating mga Filipino athletes. And that'll do it for us dito po sa Power and Play ngayong Sabado. Again, lagi po natin sinasabi, tuwing Sabado, bawal ang masungit. At sa lahat po ng ating gawain, ad maiorem Dei gloriam, all for the greater glory of God. Kami po ang 1PH Teleserbisyo para sa Pilipino. Susunod na po ang inyong paboritong inay ko po.
Happy weekend sa inyo po.
More power
and more play.
Sa kapwa Ipagmalaki ang galing na meron tayo. Ilantad ang likas nating talento at magdala ng saya sa mundo. Sa harap ng pagsubok ay di susuko. Para sa pangarap tayo'y porsigido. Magpakitang gilas na at magpapatalo. Ipag-iwang natin ng Pilipino. Yan ang Pinoy. Mula noon at hanggang ngayon, talento natin ang bida. Mula sa simpleng bakuran hanggang entablado natin ipakita. May pagsubok man ng Pinoy, pinalalakas ng saya. San man tayo sa Pulo, Chumbe, Sibay, Lakay, Amiga. Sama-samang pakita ang galing natin katropa sa kapwa ko Pilipino.
Power and Play is presented by Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Cherry Tigo, there's more to our cars. Joyride, ang bago ninyong kasundo.
Halina't makinig, talakayin natin